Why do men hire escorts? I'm going to play a clip from Psych Hacks. He's going through a 3-part series on why men hire escorts. And in this first video of his, I want to show you how he really explains how much work it is for a man to find a woman for sex. Even the most successful, charming, good-looking men have to work at it. It takes time and it takes emotional investment to go out, to meet a woman, to get her interested in you. So much time. You might strike out. And then sometimes the woman will like you, but you gotta wait 3 dates for the sex. Or you have sex with her and now she's emotionally attached. Now, ladies are designed this way. We are designed to want an emotional investment in a man. We want to feel appreciated, loved, safe, turned on. But from the man's point of view, that's a lot of work, ladies. I don't know if women really realize how much is required of a man's investment. A man will make that investment if he's looking for a relationship and thinks you are his relationship type. The only other men that will invest in this are men with too much time on their hands that are probably getting friend-zoned. So there's kind of like this tug. Women want this investment. If a man just wants sex, a lot of men don't want to just lead a woman on and hurt her feelings. Or they don't want to deal with the emotional aftermath of where's this going and having her get attached. Or if they just want sex, they really don't want to deal with the woman after the sex. So whether it's an escort, a dominatrix, a full body sensual massage, it's just ease of access for a man who can afford the service. This is not just limited to rich men. This is just for a man who wants to pay for the convenience without having to put in all that emotional labor, all of that time, just to lead on a woman who probably wants more out of it because we're built that way. I would say that more men will go for the massage with happy ending route than the escort route, but these are all options. And so on this clip, and I hope this is okay for me to post, that it's not like copyrighted or something, because I really want to give him credit for explaining really well what is required of a man to woo a woman for sex. Then I'll be back on the other side.
In the traditional dating pipeline, what would be expected of him? Well, first, he'd have to spend some time making something happen. Maybe he has to go out to a bar on a Saturday night and rizz up a girl. And this is hardly a sure thing, even at the local meat market, so he'll have to have the energy and the emotional resilience to deal with the rejection that inevitably stands between him and an actual prospect. Or he'll have to spend time creating a dating profile on an app that won't land him in the invisible 90% functionally ignored by all women, and swiping on hundreds of accounts in order to get some matches. Either way, once he succeeds in getting a number, he'll need to spend more time playing the text game in order to help the woman feel sufficiently safe and sufficiently attracted, which is not an easy balance to strike, to meet up for an actual date. Of course, he'll be expected to plan the date, which will almost certainly occur at some neutral location, as opposed to his house, several days or even weeks out. On the date, he'll be expected to cover all the expenses, but as we'll see, this is the most inexpensive part of dating for him. The meeting itself will probably last 2, maybe 3 hours, with potentially an hour of commuting to and from the location. So he likely has to block off an entire evening, and busy, successful men may only get 1 evening off a week, if that. And given all this time and effort and expense, there is, of course, absolutely no guarantee that the man will even be attracted to the woman in question, let alone succeed in securing a sexual encounter. And irrespective of the moral or ethics involved, this is frustrating because since men attempt to exchange resources for sexual opportunity in the sexual marketplace, this is why he's there. So even if we ignore all the monetary expenses associated with the date itself, which are potentially not insignificant, a 3-hour date bookended by an hour of travel at $1,300 an hour is $5,200. This means this guy is paying $5,000 in terms of the cost to his time to go on a date with you. And this does not include any of the time and effort that went into securing the date. This may come as a shock, but most women do not just show up into a man's life with an intention to make his life easier. For most men, it's a lot of fucking work to get sex and relationships from women. You hear a lot about the emotional labor that women perform for men. But it's absolutely true that men perform a great deal of emotional labor for women. It's just that the man's labor typically has to do with getting laid and securing and maintaining the relationship. To do this, men often have to be charming or funny or cool. They have to stimulate your emotions and arouse your attraction. They have to listen to you talk about your day and care about the woman inside your body. And they have to do all this without giving the slightest impression that this is in any way work for them, or that they could possibly want to do literally anything else with their time and attention. Because if you get the impression that they're just doing this because it works, and not because they authentically want to do it, you won't fuck them. This is not easy to do. Even the most successful Casanovas strike out more often than they get on base. Women are extremely complex, and most men do not even begin to approach an understanding of how you operate. In any case, dating you requires a lot of time, energy, money, and emotional resilience. And if you're working 80 hours a week, you just might not have the bandwidth for that.
Well, I thought he explained it so well. I'm sure the guys are going to go, yes, he gets us. And a lot of ladies might be really surprised. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about his explanation of the amount of work involved for men to get sex if that's all they want? And of course, it goes without saying, there are women that are happy to hook up and have sex too, but these women are a minority of the population, and it's not the everyday woman who is just down to fuck some guy. So anyway, thank you for watching my video.